On the brakes, Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, comes to chicane, off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff.
This is Solo P1. This is episode 69 of the debrief. And all I can say about that is, has McLaren blown it? Has McLaren blown it? Have they? Have they opened the door to Max Verstappen to win this world title? Are we witnessing the incompetence of McLaren? Are we? The proprietary rules. This is the thing about it, yeah? This is where being a ruthless team principal, a ruthless engineer, a ruthless strategist comes into play. Look, everybody wants to be nice. Everybody wants to be liked in Formula One. Not in general, I'm about in Formula One. But what it boils down to is the way you win a championship is being ruthless. Being ruthless. Look at the history of Formula One. Schumacher, ruthless. Ayrton Senna, ruthless. Lewis Hamilton, ruthless. Max Verstappen, ruthless. The list goes on. If you want to win a championship, if you want to win a race, you have to be ruthless. Say what you want about Christian Horner. Say what you want about Christian Horner. He is ruthless. Christian Horner is ruthless. Every single time, he's ruthless. This is why Max Verstappen has won so much with Red Bull. They pick a driver and they go with him. Very simple. Forget the proprietary rules. Forget about being liked. Forget about evening the strategy between two drivers. You pick a driver, you go. This is the reason why McLaren has found themselves in this predicament. Because they can't make up their mind. When you look at Lewis Hamilton when he was with McLaren, now when he was even with McLaren and Mercedes, they pick the driver, they say, right, after the summer break, whether it's 15, 20 points between you, we're going to go with you. That's how you win titles. You don't start arguing among yourself 3-4 races ago towards the end of the season and bring proprietary rules that we have to treat all drivers the same. That is horse crap. That is horse crap. Very simple. You are in this predicament because you have blown it. Because you want the two drivers to like each other. You don't want no controversy between the two teams. You don't want controversy between the engineers. This is why you find yourself in this predicament. In the summer of 2025, The McLaren boys were over 100 points in front of Max Verstappen. Now there's only 12 points between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. Piastri is behind Max Verstappen now. This is what your proprietary rules have done. You clowns. If you make Max Verstappen win this championship, you'll go down as the biggest bottle jobs in the history of Formula One. That's what you'll go down as. The biggest bottle jobs in Formula One. All you had to do is take Lando Norris when he was the guy in front. But what did you do? You forgot. You cared more about, we've got to look after Piastri. We don't want his feelings hurt. We have to nurture him back into the title race. What are we doing here? What are you doing? You get Lando Norris. He was the guy. You go with him. Max Verstappen said it himself. If he was in that car, the championship would have been over. Not just the fact that he was a faster driver than them. It's the fact that when he's in Red Bull, he's the guy. He said himself, if someone told me to move over for another driver, he would tell him to F off. That's exactly what he said. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Lando Norris has been the main driver for a long time, for a couple of months. But you felt sorry for Oscar Piastri's feelings. And because you've felt sorry for Oscar Piastri's feelings, you've let Max back into the championship. That's exactly what you've done. You have failed your mission. The proprietary rules. It has failed you as a team. Very simple. You had this championship. You had it there. But no. Piastri started moaning to the team, saying, you're favouring Lando Norris over me because he's British, maybe. I don't know. And what happened? You came out and you said, I'm going to punish Lando Norris. And Lando Norris is the driver that was in front. There were 5 races to go towards the end of the championship, and you publicly came out and said, I'm going to punish Lando Norris. That's exactly what you said, word for word. He will get punished. And he was your main driver, the guy in front. And because you've done all this crap about punishing your own driver, the race leader, the championship leader, you've brought Max Verstappen back into the championship. You look to the world now, you look like clowns. That's what you look like. You look like a bunch of clowns. You had it. You had the championship. Comfortable. And now, all those points that you had, because you wanted to cater to Piastri, you've let Max back in. Well done. Well done. And if Max wins the world title, like I said, you'll be the biggest bottle jobs in the history of our sport, the history of Formula One. You'll be the biggest bottle jobs if you let Max win his 5th world title. Bottle jobs. And that's how I feel about it. Don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you agree with me or not. That's how I look at it. You had the championship sewn up. But for some reason, you wanted to bring Oscar Piastri back into the fold. And because you've done that, you've let Max back in. Max said it himself, mistake after mistake after mistake they're making, you've let me back in. That's exactly what you've done. The proprietary rules. We need to have the 2 drivers in harmony. We can't favour one driver over another. What are you doing? This is a world title. Lando was comfortable in front. Comfortable. And what did you do? You let Max back in. And I don't care what you say to the media. I don't care what you say. What it boils down to is you'll go to bed tonight. You'll think about it. You'll wake up tomorrow morning and you will know that you made a mistake. You should have just took Lando Norris and said to Piastri, I don't care if you moan. Lando's our guy. He's the guy in front. We can't mess around. That's all you had to do, but you're not ruthless enough because maybe you're not used to winning. Maybe the last world title you ever won was Lewis Hamilton when he was at the McLaren. And that's what it is. And let's face it, all you care about the constructors, because when it boils down to the constructors is where the money is. And that's all you care about. But what you've done is you've screwed your driver. For me, Lando's the one who's got screwed more than anyone. I don't care what anyone says. Lando Norris is being screwed because Oscar Piastri threw his dummy out of the pram, started whinging and moaning, and then what you said, papaya rules. What now about papaya rules? What now? 12 points behind Lando Norris. The only way you're going to win this world title if you hope and pray that you say to Oscar Piastri, you know what, Oscar, which you're not going to. I guarantee I know it's going to be a statement. This is going to be the statement going into Abu Dhabi. Guaranteed next week. Oh, it's this week now, it's Sunday. This week, the statement's going to be, we haven't done nothing wrong. We've got to do papaya rules. And I can see Ted saying to him, you know what? Will you sacrifice Oscar Piastri now to help out Lando Norris? No, we don't do that, McLaren. Everything's even. And what's going to happen is you're going to discombobulate each other. You're going to wreck them up. And then what's going to happen is Max Verstappen's going to win the world title. And then you'll say at the end of it, if he does win the world title, you'll say, oh, yeah, but we tried. Papaya rules. Papaya rules comes first. Papaya rules. You bunch of clowns. Very simple. So I'm going to bring in my coach, he's my partner in crime, Mr. Toto Abba. We got Toto. Is that too bad? I was getting some.
Your mic sounded a bit funny. It's
going like weird.
Yeah, that's better. That's better now.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay, so mute your mic. Yeah, Cameron, it's my headphones. Go ahead. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, Verstappen's back in it, and it didn't have to be this way. Norris missing out on that third place. If he would have got that third place, and we said before the weekend, if Max didn't finish ahead of Lando, it would have been curtains for Max Verstappen for the championship. All it took is two points, and then Verstappen wouldn't have been the championship into Abu Dhabi. It would just been it wouldn't even be. It would only been between Lando and Piastri, but they're just letting back in it, and you know it's all down to mindset now and staying calm and try and make as minimum mistakes as you can, because let's face it, the way you win a championship, you have to be very, very consistent in your style, and you have to be very, very consistent as a team. McLaren weren't consistent this year. Even though they had the best car, scored the most points, right? There was nowhere near enough consistent. It could have been with the strategy, very, very inconsistent with the strategy. I think inconsistent picks and what driver they're going to prioritise. I think very, very inconsistent with that. And I think that papaya rules is very, very a big factor in why they're almost failing. Look, if they would have probably got the strategy right and got the car right, and maybe would have been in a better spot. But at the moment, it should have, could have. They've never done it in the end of the day. And they're paying the price for it. Lando, for an example, you know, I thought he's having an amazing run, but very, very inconsistent in his performances. Very, very inconsistent, and which is allowing him to come to this point. And Lando lost so much points this season. It could have been on a high points tally, but again, it should have, could have. You know, Lando's not there because it not have that big gap as he's supposed to be, and not capitalising on when Piastri was starting near the back, or when Piastri made mistakes. Lando never capitalised on it, you know, and Lando weren't consistent enough. McLaren weren't consistent enough in the whole in terms of pitch strategy and who they're picking the drivers and that. Papaya rules have ruined it, you know. I just think that you give, it's like with Mercedes with Lewis and Bottas, you know, you give them maybe a few races, if that, and who's the best driver, and then you prioritise them, and then you keep that consistently throughout the whole season. Consistency is key in racing. Driving style consistency is very, very key, and there wasn't consistent this season. McLaren, no, that's how you win. That's how you win a championship. Especially Lando as well, not consistent enough. So, yeah, it's all going over the place at the moment.
Look, at the end of the day, I'll say what I say, and I'm going to stick to it. McLaren, you're a bunch of clowns. Very simple. You are a clowns. You cared about being liked. You cared about the drivers liking each other. You didn't want to cause harmony between the two drivers. You didn't want to cause controversy between the two drivers. And what you've ended up doing, is ended up blowing the world title potentially. Because what you should have done is, as soon as the summer break come, when Lando had that, I think it was a couple of months ago, when Lando had that 40-point gap on Oscar Piastri, what you should have said is, right, Oscar, you've been brilliant this season, but unfortunately, Lando Norris is our guy. He's the guy 40 points in front, and we need to prioritize him over you, because if you don't, Max Verstappen might come back. And that's exactly what happened, because they saw the speed that Max Verstappen had after the summer. They'd done something to that car. They injected something into that car. They found some speed in that car. And Max Verstappen, after the summer break, was phenomenal. He was mowing down that lead. That lead from 100 points was coming closer and closer and closer. It was narrowing the gap. So what McLaren should have done then, and should have said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make Lando Norris the guy. Lando Norris is the guy, and Piastri, you have to wait till next season. Very simple. But what happened is, Oscar Piastri threw his dummy out of the pram, started complaining, and said, you know what? I ain't having this. I'm not having this. I'm a McLaren driver as well. It seems like you're prioritizing Lando Norris over me. I'm not having it. So what did they do? They said, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to do proprietary rules, and we're going to make them be even from now to the end of the season. And but what you've done is, you've brought Max Verstappen back into the fold. Now there's a chance now that Max Verstappen could win the title in Abu Dhabi in 2025. And you had that big gap, and you've blown it. And that's down to you. Your mistakes. Very simple. Your mistakes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think as the whole performance didn't be consistent enough from McLaren. Red Bull was down and out. You know, Verstappen was 103 points behind McLaren. And I sat her in the video, and I was saying, look, it's over for Red Bull. You know, Max is not getting anywhere, and Max didn't even believe himself. He's not getting anywhere. He was in an interview saying, look, it is what it is, where I am, you know. And it always go back to my point at the start of the weekend where he said, I'm only here because of other people's mistakes. And when Max had an interview after the race, even he said, yeah, another mistake. And I agree with him. I tend to agree with him, you know.
Yeah, of course you gotta agree, because they're clowns. I don't care. They are clowns. I don't care. Anyone says.
You got a safety
hold back
car.
as much as you want. The clowns.
You got a safety car, and you know how fast these tyres burn out. You want to take advantage of a safety car as much as possible, and it's a fast track. So the undercut is very, very powerful, or the overcut, whatever you want to call it. Right, undercut, overcut. Undercut, very, very powerful here. Overcut is very, very powerful here because it's a fast track. And they could have took advantage of that pit stop. Max went in, and Max always had that tyre advantage.
You want to do the race now? We just start with the race. How lights out the way we go. Go ahead. I'll let you do the race. I'll let you go. Go ahead, Toto. Lights out the way we go. Boom.
Yeah, that one. Everyone got away clean.
Sorry, one. For the people on audio, I will be putting this on audio. Big up to the people. This one goes on audio, Spotify, iTunes, and all that. Stitcher. I'll be putting it up. No problem. Big up, Toto. Go ahead.
Yeah. So everyone got away cleanly.
Yeah.
In that one, no really positions made. Hamilton made up to 14th, which is the only highlight of the whole lap. But again, he didn't even finish in a great position. That car is just horrendous. Lap 5, Max was struggling with balance shift balance. So that basically means that the tyres are getting more hot, because we all know this track is high demanded in terms of tyres. And this is why safety car is very, very good to take an opportunity to go on a harder tyre and a fresh set. So lap 7, this is when the safety car happens. Hulkenberg was out the race, collision with Gasly, which caused a safety car. Max blinked first for his fresh set of mediums. Everyone pitted except for the two McLarens. Very, very abnormal strategy. Very, very abnormal. And then they regretted it. They they did regret the strategy. Then they came on the radio saying, "Oh, they've lost all the flexibility." But little did they know, it's a mandatory 2-stopper. So really, you have to make the extra pit stop still, and you're going to lose more time for it. So
I know what you're saying there. But you know, at the beginning of the race, did you know that? I know you probably don't care about this, but I'd just like to put it in anyway for the people listening to the audio, for people who just caught the highlights. At the beginning of the race, everyone was on new medium tires except for Albon. Started on the soft, and Hulkenberg on the hard. Go ahead. I just wanted to get that in.
Yeah, Max went first for the tyres, and he always had the tyre advantage from start to finish.
Yeah,
McLaren should have definitely took advantage of that strategy. You know, the idiots. You know, they should have.
Safety car. Yeah, the safety car. Lap 11. Look, the lap 11. I think it was lap 9. Lap 7 was a clash with Hulkenberg and Ocon, isn't it? That brought out the safety car. Everybody started pitting, and this is where the race all went wrong, because I remember watching it, and I said, "Hello, it's time to pit. The safety car's out." No, and I was like referring to the McLaren boys.
Yeah.
No pit. Everybody came in. I thought, hold on, why ain't McLaren coming in? And at lap 11, Lando Norris comes on the radio, and he says to his engineer, "Don't you think we should have pitted then?" No, and he goes, "No. Everybody else have lost their flexibility." Now, Toto, when you heard this, what did you think of this when he said he lost his flexibility? This is lap 11.
I didn't get it because it's a mandatory 2-stop strategy.
Yeah,
and they can go maximum 25 laps on your tyres. They did that, so it makes it more interesting.
Yeah,
I think they did it for viewership as well. Makes it more interesting.
They do it for Max.
Yeah. And I didn't get this flexibility crap because it didn't work out, because Max always had the tyre advantage. He went in first. All he's got to do is make one extra pit stop.
That's it.
And McLaren extended their stint for what when you had a safety car window.
Exactly.
So Verstappen had a safety car window above McLaren.
You think they bottled it?
I think they did bottle it. You know,
they bottled it and probably thought that Max was going to stay out, and they just basically bottled it. Yeah.
Lando was questioning McLaren, saying, "Look, we should have just followed him, Max. We should have followed the other drivers," and was questioning the strategy call. And then the strategy said, "Oh, flexibility." I didn't get it. I don't know where I was going with there. Yeah. That's what I'm saying about consistency. They haven't been consistent with strategies, strategy and all that, especially in the pit lane as well. Nowhere near consistent in terms of their calls, and I don't know what's going on. Lap 22, Piastri was struggling with tyres. This is straight after the safety car. Then Norris pit for fresh mediums, lap 26, 2.2 seconds, and Alonso nearly overcut him.
It was a good pit, like 2.1 second.
Yeah, nearly undercut him there. Lap 30, of course, Piastri overtook Antonelli for third.
Yeah.
So Piastri straight there in the top 3. He running quicker than Norris. Then Max pit for hards for the end of the race. So that was his 2-stop strategy completed. And then as soon as he come out, who's only 3 seconds behind the McLarens. That's not even a pit stop window.
I know. That's when you knew they failed. They failed. I just don't understand, Toto. Their race was lost. Now we're going back again. We're supposed to be going forward. I get it. But the race, the race was finished at the point where they had the safety car and it didn't come in. And they were so sure that they thought another safety car was going to come. They were so sure. You could see, even they asked the other drivers, like they were talking to the other drivers, they were talking to other team principals. Would you have pitted when the safety car come out? They all said, of course. Because you pit, you get the better tyres. You come in and put the hard tyres on and you can go long for the longest stint. Yeah. But McLaren never pitted. Now, do you think this is down to inexperience, not being in this position for a long time? Because I know they've won the constructors, but when's the last time they've been in this scenario where you've had 2 drivers fighting for the world title? This season is probably the most realistic time, isn't it? Not last season. I think Max had too much on Lando, so Lando couldn't really bring it back. But regarding this season, that they haven't really been in this scenario since Lewis Hamilton, really. Since Lewis Hamilton won the title, right, for them in 2007, right? Or 2008? No, 2008. So, what do you think it is, Toto? Do you think he's inexperienced, or do you think they just bottled it?
I think they spotted it, in my opinion. You know, they've been great all season. They bottled it. Inconsistent in the performances. I'm going to say again. You know.
Yeah, but what and not prioritizing one driver over another.
Yeah,
to make them both equal.
Look, I'm not into all this prioritize. I think, but if you want to win a
You have to pick a driver.
Of course, if you want to win a championship, you got to pick a driver. And if Piastri was better or Lando was better, you prioritize that driver.
Lando was way ahead of Piastri a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's brought him back in because I want to keep him equal.
Yeah. Lando had a big gap, and they should have said, right, Lando, you're more chance to win the championship. You go ahead and you get right to strategy, you get right to everything, you get the fastest car and everything, yeah. But they didn't do it. I understand if the two drivers are side by side all season, different story. But again, a couple of races ago, Lando had that big
way ahead.
25-point gap. That's a big gap towards the end. 3 races to go, 25-point gap. That's a big gap, and they still didn't prioritize Lando. Could they say? And then Zach Brown did an interview as well, and he was saying, "Oh, if we do get beat, I want him to beat us and not beat ourselves on it." What does that even mean?
Well, they've just beat themselves nearly. They've practically nearly beat themselves, by the way. That's what they've done. They might have beaten themselves because they've tried to keep them both the same. They've let Max Verstappen come through the back door. That means if they do lose, effectively, they've beaten themselves, innit?
Yeah.
They're beating themselves because they didn't pick one driver. Oh, look, Lando Norris had a big gap over Piastri about 2 months ago, right? Less than 2 months ago, the gap on Piastri was big. So what they should have done is, hello, we're going to pick Lando now. Most teams do after the summer break.
Yeah.
But they gave him a little bit more time and they said, you know what? What we're going to do is, Piastri, your services have been brilliant this season. But unfortunately, Lando Norris is our guy. There's only 5-6 races to go. So we're going to pick Lando Norris to be our guy. And we want you to help him win the world title. That's what they should have done. But the proprietary rules, no, we're going to make everybody the same. We've got to have tea together. We're going to have Christmas dinner together. We have to have parties together. We're going to hug each other. And we're just going to be nice to everybody. And then, you know what, maybe we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But what's happened, you've let Max Verstappen through the back door. So you have beaten yourself. Eat that. Go ahead, Toto.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in McLaren. I don't like
talking. See incompetence. This is what we're seeing now. Incompetence.
I don't get it. What flexibility? You're pitched up down.
They got flexibility in the brain. That's the flexibility they was talking about. The McLaren flexibility is in their head. It's in their brain. They've done it. Let's face it. They've done it to style out, didn't they?
Strategy.
They knew they messed up to try to style it, didn't it? Let's face it. Let's call it the way it is. Yeah, let's just call it the way it is. McLaren knew they'd done wrong, not pitting. So when Lando was on the radio, they're just trying to style it out and go, "Oh, the flexibility." The flexibility is in their cranium.
They're just trying to sound confident.
Nah, they're just trying to style it out. Very simple. They tried to style it and they blew it. The arses went. And that was it.
Yeah. Lap 35, Lando was struggling with the throttle.
Yeah. You know what that was?
Norris was Norris was struggling with damage. He went off the track and he had damage on his car.
You know what? Sorry, I know I keep talking over. But you know what? I'm trying to make this entertaining because I'm trying to be happy because I've never seen so much incompetence in an F1 team in my entire life. They even beat Ferrari for incompetence. Not even Ferrari would blow this. Not even if Ferrari had the gap that McLaren had, not even Ferrari would throw this away. You get me?
Yeah.
Papaya rules. You know they don't care because they've got the money because they've won the constructors. That's where the money comes from. So I don't think they actually know deep down. They know they got the money. Keeps turning over. Go ahead.
Yeah. 38, nicely lifting and coasting for a bit. They're sacrificing low speed for high speed.
Oh yeah, they've done the lifting and coasting all right. They've been doing that for the last 2 bumps.
Yeah. Max was faster than Norris by Sector 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So again, I don't get where this flexibility comes into play.
Again, in the brain, the flexibility in the CPU and the computer, they can't get all the information. So the driver's quick enough. So I think they got flexibility in the CPU. I think they got 20 meg broadband. That's what that is. That's what you can do. I'm just taking the mic. You know why? Because I've never seen so much incompetence. Not even football, tennis, and Formula One, anything like that. I've never seen so much incompetence in a team in my entire life. How can you have 100-point gap at summer and then narrow it down to 12 points? Please tell me. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense, Toto. Please. You're the stable one in this scenario. Please make it make sense. Please.
That makes sense.
Exactly. It's a rhetorical question. I already knew the answer. Big up, bro. Go ahead.
Lap 40, 11 laps later. Nothing happened for 11 laps. Just McLaren exploring the flexibility. And then lap 40, Verstappen was 4 tenths quicker than Norris. So again, didn't get the flexibility. Lap 42, Piastri pits for fresh hards, 1.8 seconds. Great pit stop. Chasing down Verstappen, didn't work out. Was 9 seconds behind at the end of the race. Lap 49, Piastri was 7 tenths quicker than Verstappen. Still failed. Lap 52, Sainz is understeer in the corners and bad the podium. And there's not, after the safety car and after the Lando and Norris and flexibility saga, nothing really happened. Piastri tries to chase Verstappen down, 6 seconds behind. So Piastri tried his hardest, but wasn't there. Lando stuck behind Antonelli, couldn't get the job done. Thing of the Lando's, I don't think he's not really a skillful driver, if you know what I mean. Like, chasing someone down, his ability, I don't think that is not his greatest strength. Yeah,
he should have passed Antonelli a long time ago.
I think he's very, very nice. I think there's times where there's a gap opening up, and I think even if you don't even go for the gap, even if you go for the gap but don't make it, you're still making there's a thing called pressure, right? And it's called a pressure overtake, and it happens in karting or racing, whatever you want to do, yeah? You stay behind the guy until he makes a mistake, because if you stay behind someone, the pressure builds up on the driver saying, which way you should go, because if you're close and you're always going for moves, you become unpredictable. So Lando should just go for the moves anyway, and when he sees the gap, just go for that gap. But I think Lando can be too nice in terms of overtaking people or whatever. When you see Lando overtake, it's more on the straight, on the DRS zone. You don't really see him overtaking to the corner. That's what I mean about, as a driver ability, I don't think he's up to scratch.
Nah, he ain't got that. What you trying to say? He ain't got that dog in him, innit?
Yeah.
He ain't got that dog, the ruthlessness, what you need. Someone like Max Verstappen's got it, Lewis has got it, Alonso had it.
He's got good ability.
Yeah, he ain't got it. He just wants it. Like, you know who's got that ability? Piastri. Yeah. Piastri would go for that like he did it in the race today when he went for it against when he passed Antonelli. He's a goat. He's like he just goes for it. You get me? He'll lunge that car into that corner. Lando's more safer, but maybe he's like that now because he knows he's in front of the world title. Look, I know the gap's gone down to 12 points, but Lando he's still got the advantage. You get me? He's still got the advantage. He's 12 points in front. He's 12 points in front of Max Verstappen. So this is probably why he doesn't want to lunge and kind of like, because if he would have lunged in that corner with Antonelli, and say if he would have clipped Antonelli and got a DNF, that would have been his championship over more or less, isn't it? This is why he's been more cautious. I think Piastri's got he's got nothing to lose really. Lando Norris has more to lose. You get me, Toto? He's got more to lose. And that's probably why he's been more cautious about going into them corners.
I mean, look, my final say, I think, when it goes into Abu Dhabi, we don't know who's going to win. Who's got the clear mind? Who's got the better mentality? It all comes down to it now because of safe. Let's face it, Red Bull and McLaren. McLaren's still got the fastest car, but are they going to pull off the strategy right? No, it's coming to that last back end of the last race. And how are they in decisive moments? How are they in crucial moments? Same thing, but how are they in them kind of pressurized moments where it's engineer versus engineer? driver versus driver, and are they going to call the strategy right and then pressurized, pressurized conditions? We know Max and Red Bull can get the strategy most of the time right, especially this season. We didn't really see Red Bull get a strategy wrong, really. It's just it's when McLaren comes to them stupid calls, it just always costs them. And like, I always go back to what Max says. He's only there because of other people's mistakes. It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah, other people's mistakes.
McLaren could have avoided this and then never.
Yeah, totally agree, Toto. Totally agree.
Big up for the new membership as well.
New membership. Okay, let's go. Let's have a look. I'll have a look at the chat room. Thank you very much, Fatino. Thank you for that membership. Thank you very much, bro.
Big up.
Legendary status. Big up to you, bro. Thanks for that. Big up. And tomorrow, got lots of protests back now, Kibo. Yeah, big up again. So basically, tomorrow, we're going to be back tomorrow for the people like Liverpool football stuff. We're going to be back tomorrow at 1700 hours, 5 p.m. tomorrow. West Ham versus Liverpool tomorrow at Review. That will be tomorrow. So if you like that, come back at that time. That will be on YouTube. But for people, for the F1 guys, we've got one more race to go. And hopefully Lando Norris can win this world title. And a message to McLaren: get your driver. When you have your debrief, say to Oscar Piastri, you ain't winning anything. Support Lando. And if you don't support Lando, you're going to be fired on Sunday evening. How about that one? That's how you be ruthless. So you say to Piastri, and I don't care if Mark Webber wants to stick his big nose in it, yeah? Say to Mark Webber, you keep out of it or you're going to get sacked as well. So you say to Oscar Piastri, listen, bro, I thank you for your services in 2025. I'm afraid you're not winning the world title. Lando is. So you help him to win the world title. And if Lando does not win the world title, and if you do not move over, or if we get into a scenario where you're supposed to move over and you don't, and you disobey the McLaren rules, we will fire you and we will give you your P45 on Sunday evening. Very simple. Because our priority is for Lando Norris to win that world title. Very simple. You can say your last conclusion, Toto, before we head off. Your dialogue, whatever you want to call it.
No, what I thought I want to say is that bring on Abu Dhabi, and it's going to be it's an exciting weekend, if you want to call it that way, because
come on, put more than that. Put some more on it. Put more stink on it. So what if it can happen?
Look, it all comes down to strategy, because McLaren has the fastest car, and for this track, it suits McLaren's car. Yeah, it does suit it. Yeah. If McLaren can get the strategy right, they can do very, very well, and they just got to prioritize the driver, because if Piastri's in second or Lando's in third, and Lando needs second to win the championship, Piastri should move over, because effectively, how Piastri is in the worst spot to win this championship. He ain't winning nothing. Even if he finishes first, he could still not win the championship. That's why he was vexed. After. You know, at the end, that's why he was vexed. That's the first time I saw Oscar Piastri that angry, because he knows it's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone for Piastri. You know, unless God's work happens. You know, it's not. Forget all that. Just stick to the simple. It's not gonna happen. It's very simple. What you do is, Lando Norris, to win the world title, he has to become second. That's it. He gets second place, he wins the world title. There's no points for fastest lap. They only done that for Max from back in the day to beat Lewis Hamilton. We knew how they'd done it, because soon as they knew that Max didn't have the fastest car, they took the rule away. So we know they do it for Max. What it boils down to is, all Lando's got to do is finish second, and he wins the world title. Now, if he comes first, that's even better. But all he's got to do is come second, and he wins the world title. He's 12 points in front of Max Verstappen. That's how we're going to look at it. Forget Piastri, he's done. Piastri, it's not going to work for Piastri. Nah, he's done. Gone. But is McLaren going to get the strategy right with Lando? Of course, second is. You know what? Second is very, very achievable. If they make them right, the even drivers again, and they make sure to give him the same strategy, and I can imagine now. Imagine if Max wins the race, second is Piastri, and third is Lando.
That'd be the biggest flop of all. McLarens, they look like clowns, man. They'd be clowns. Anyway,
It
I'm
seems
going to
like
head it
they're
on.
gonna do that.
Go on.
Zach Brown, of course, I said this before. Zach Brown said, "Look, even if we do lose, we'll get beaten, but don't beat ourselves up for it."
All right.
That's the way. I don't get that, but you just need to prioritize the drivers.
There you go. So we're going to be heading off now. Big up to you, Toto, again for your final analysis. I know I've got Tuesday. I'll be back tomorrow. We're doing the race. We're doing the Liverpool review of the West Ham game. You can see at the bottom screen, 1700 hours UK time. So wherever you are in the world, just do your clap thing. It's UK time, 1700 hours. That's 5 p.m. And also Tuesday, we're doing a player lineup for the Liverpool game, which we'll be playing on Wednesday against Sunderland. And then Tuesday evening, I'm doing a watch along of the Women's Nations final, second leg, Spain versus Germany. So I'll be doing that as well. So there's a lot on this week. So big up to everybody. Big up to the man, then big up to the woman, then. Stay safe. And Toto, big up to you. You're going to do your short now for the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And so Toto's going to do his short now. He's going to whack that up as well. So remember to like and that. Big up to everyone, man. Big up to you, Toto. Brilliant today. Brilliant today, man. As always. This is our channel. This is Keep It Sports. And Toto, man, is co-owner of the channel as well. So big up to you. Big up to the man, then. Toto. See you later, bro.
Yeah.
You're a champ, man. You're a champ. Big up. Wake up, McLaren. Wake up.